Greetings, people of Earth. My name is Jack. Welcome back. Today, obviously, you can see by the title, this is called Behavioral Antidepressants. I am not a psychologist, a psychotherapist, a psychiatric nurse. I have no medical training whatsoever. If you are dealing with serious depression, please seek help where people who know what they're talking about can provide you with the help and guidance and support and medication that you need. That being said, I am someone who has lived on this planet and I have experience with depression and dealing with personal issues like that. So I feel as though I have a right and an ability to share some of what I know with you, take it or leave it. But that is the disclaimer done for the video. I'm not going to tolerate any kind of, you can't be talking about this, you can't, no. I'm a human, I've experienced this stuff, and I feel comfortable talking about it. So, that being said, we're going to talk about antidepressants that come not from a pill bottle, but from either within yourself or through activities and things that can help you feel a little bit less crazy, feel a little bit less sad, those kinds of things. There has been research done on behavioral antidepressants. Some of it says that behavioral antidepressants are very effective and they're a great tool. They certainly aren't a standalone or a replacement for therapy and many other interventions that should be taken. However, I'm going to talk about what works for me. So a big one for me is cooking and baking. As you can see, I'm in the kitchen. This is why we're in the kitchen. But I have many of them. They include reading. I am very into archery, so I will go shoot at a target and relieve a lot of stress and difficulty through that. There are a myriad of hobbies, interests, experiences, things that you can do to reduce being in your head, being stuck on the past or present or future, and just spiraling into a depressive episode. So yeah, that's essentially what we're talking about. And I find a huge relief and comfort from going to the gym, working out, moving my body, having my mind think a little bit less, and allowing just like my exertion to, exercise my demons, I think it's interesting that the word exercise originally comes from exercising demons, and now we use it as a term of physical fitness. So there's lots that you can do. It's all about finding what works for you and the different strategies. It's not necessarily about finding one strategy that works for you, but it can be about finding a collection of strategies that not only help reduce your anxiety and reduce your stress, but they can also reduce your sadness and your depression. And I think only you can work out these strategies and figure out what works for you. For me, it might be baking cookies or shooting some arrows at a target. But for you, it might be going for a walk or reading or cuddling with your dog or going to the library or connecting with other people or volunteering. But the point of this video is to express to everybody that there are things that you can do that have a measurable effect on your mood, on your happiness, on how your general health is doing throughout a week, to just make it feel like it's less of a burden and less of a weight on your shoulders. Depression is an all-consuming thing, and it makes you feel like the world is ending and it's ending today. When we all innately know that the world isn't ending today, that things do get better, that there are troughs and peaks in the waves, there are, I feel very juvenile for doing that, but whatever. There are ups and downs, highs and lows. We all know this. Every song in existence talks about highs and lows and difficulties and high points in our lives. So I think there is a lot to be said for, trying to access things that make you feel better, that make you feel stronger. there has been a lot of research into the idea of using volunteer service, and by helping others, you help yourself. And I'm currently reading this book by the Dalai Lama, and he seems to think that that is absolutely a great solution, is when you're feeling bad about yourself, go volunteer at a soup kitchen, go volunteer some time reading to kids or helping the elderly, you know, helping other people who have other struggles than you might have, like completely different struggles than you have, can be a really great source of fulfillment, enjoyment, human connection. I mean, we're social animals, whether we like it or not. Homo sapiens are very much a social species. We communicate, we form groups and tribes and cultures. And if we don't feel connected to that culture, boy, does it feel lonely and awful, because we know innately that if we're on our own, evolutionarily, we would be, you know, not survive in the next week, because we need the group, we need the tribe to help us thrive and survive. That rhymed, but just ignore that. But yeah, so I don't know. I think part of the reason I'm making this video is kind of for myself. I haven't been feeling like depressed or just sad recently. I haven't been dealing with severe depression recently. It has been in my past for sure, but I kind of wanted to make this video as just a way of documenting that even in difficult times of our lives, there are things we can do. We can take action and be proactive in how we're feeling, what we're doing. You don't have to be productive. You don't have to be creative all the time. There is an immense pressure in our culture to produce, to make money, to achieve fame and fortune. And we glorify success to such a huge degree in our culture that when you aren't feeling successful, you feel worthless. And that's not really appropriate, and that's not good for anybody's general health, because it is impossible, I'm gonna say this again, it is impossible to be a successful person 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That is not possible. Yet our society tells us that we must be productive, we must make money, we must achieve, we must, you know, whether it's graduating from university or high school or getting a doctorate or getting that really sweet job with Apple or Google, or, you know, our society teaches us that unless we are doing those things, we are not valuable. And that is innately wrong. You are valuable because you are a sentient being who has the ability to conceive of the universe, and you do not need some little white collar tuxedo wearing loser with a law degree to tell you that you are valuable. You are valuable innately. You like I don't know, it sounds so stereotypical and so basic, but that old quote about like you are made of star stuff, like you genuinely are. Your particles once made up an ancient star. Like it's just a fact of life. Like the atoms within your body made up, you know, the dinosaurs, they made up the earth when it was first created, they made up the stars before the earth even existed. And to deny yourself a little bit of credit and a little bit of worth because, you know, you didn't work 8 hours a day straight today is ridiculous. You are valuable regardless of if you're producing something at this exact moment. And whether you produce anything throughout your entire life or not, it doesn't matter, because you lived a life, your consciousness existed, and that in itself is sacred and special. And I know that sounds really spiritual and really airy-fairy, because it is, but just because it is doesn't mean it's not true. So thank you for listening. Hopefully it made sense. Hopefully it helps. Like I said, obviously behavioral antidepressants are not the be-all end-all cure. There are many things that we can do to take our health into our own hands. Please know that you're not alone. There are billions of people across the planet who struggle with severe depression, anxiety, all kinds of disorders, insomnia. You know, when you're lying in bed alone and you can't fall asleep, please understand that you are not the only one. there are people struggling with these kinds of things all over the world. And if we could just create a culture and a space where we could talk about it and find solutions for one another and help each other out and be positive, well-adjusted human beings, the world would be a much better place. So I'm going to stop pontificating and dictating to you. Please leave your comments in the description. I've written down a whole bunch of things that work for me in terms of behaviors I can do that get me out of my head, stop me thinking about the future or the past. I would love to hear what yours are. I would love to hear solutions you have. If you strongly disagree with me, please let me know. I'm interested in learning. If you find that, no, like you have to do this or you have to do this, let me know. I'm an open-minded human being who's interested in this topic because it's something I deal with, and it's something my family deals with and my friends deal with, and literally everybody I've ever known has dealt with issues like this. So thank you guys for listening. Treat everyone with compassion. Please understand that even your worst enemy deals with problems like this, and it's not fun. Your greatest enemy can be your greatest teacher. So let's just encourage compassion and understanding, especially when people are dealing with things like depression, because it's a serious thing to struggle with and to fight and overcome. But yes, please treat everyone with compassion, love yourself, love everyone else, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.